this front page for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said he's ready to make a deal, but is waiting for President Biden to invite him to negotiations to raise the nation's soon-to-expire borrowing limit. Susan Ferricchio reports House Republicans are trying to craft legislation that could be used in a debt ceiling trade-off, including a measure to ramp up domestic energy production and provisions to secure the southern U.S. border with Mexico. McCarthy said he won't simply greenlight an increase in the nation's $31.4 trillion debt limit, which is set to expire this summer. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida managed to upstage Chinese President Xi Jinping during his high-profile summit to Russia by making a surprise visit himself to Ukraine for talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Andrew Salmon reports the dueling summits are the latest in a growing list of convergences between Atlantic and Indo-Pacific alliances and rivalries. Kishida, who will host a meeting of President Biden and other leaders of the group of 7 leading industrial nations in May, rode a train from Poland on Tuesday to Ukraine. He denounced the Russian invasion as a disgrace that undermines the foundations of the international legal order. TikTok is mobilizing a cadre of influencers to descend on Washington and persuade lawmakers not to kill the China-founded app's operation ahead of its CEO's testimony to Congress Thursday. TikTok spokesperson Jamal Brown told our Ryan Lovelace the influencers use the platform to make a living and put food on their tables. He said his company's community of creators includes teachers and small business owners. The content creators are expected to appeal to lawmakers' emotions. The company's previous efforts to woo Washington insiders have focused heavily on a plan to overhaul data security efforts amid growing concerns that China will use the app to spy on and manipulate Americans. The House Energy and Commerce Committee hearing will give lawmakers a chance to question TikTok's leader and perhaps give the app its best chance to sway public opinion. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. President Biden has made 14 trips across the country and around the globe over the past 7 weeks, but none to East Palestine, Ohio, despite repeated promises to do so. Taking heat from Democratic and Republican lawmakers on the issue, Jeff Murdoch reports the president has insisted he will go to the site of a train derailment that spilled toxic chemicals into the community and gain national attention at some point, but a trip has not been announced. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Last week, she told reporters there was nothing to share about the town, where residents fear for their health and safety from the Norfolk Southern train derailment that officials say will take years to clean up. The end of the Pentagon's coronavirus vaccine mandate has sparked complex questions. Chief among them, Ben Wolfgang reports, is exactly how to punish or not the service members who refuse the shot and, as the Pentagon argues, refuse to follow the lawful order to get it. Pentagon officials say they're reviewing case-by-case instances of service members declining the vaccine. Critics of the mandate say the military should simply abandon its review process, given that the policy has been revoked. The Pentagon says it's not that simple, and some legal analysts agree. And finally, surveys find conservative college students and workers say they fear sharing their political and religious beliefs out of fear of retribution. Sean Salai reports an Ipsos Alliance Defending Freedom survey found 3 out of 5 employees fear losing their jobs if they mention conservative religious or political views at work. 54% also said that posting religious or political views on social media could lead to negative consequences in the workplace. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.